everybody, welcome to another Flipping Tables. Today we have another prototype for a game coming to Kickstarter very soon called Shards of Madness. This is a great Cthulhu-themed game, and again, everything we're going to show you here is a prototype. So obviously, components are subject to change, quality is subject to change, rules are subject to change before it actually hits Kickstarter or before it actually releases. Cthulhu themed game. I love Cthulhu themed games. Basic rules of this, basic gameplay is you are trying to summon creatures. You are the cultists. Normal Cthulhu games, you're trying to defeat them, but no, this time you are summoning them, and the first person to summon 6 of these creatures into the world actually begins the end game. And so basic setup. Here's our basic setup right here. A game starts with 7 cards that are out on the table. Yep. This is the altar.
The altar. Yeah.
And so you're trying to summon cards from the altar. You have gates, which have more cards that can come out onto the altar, and the gates are protected by seals, which are these great crystals. Very nice, beautiful colored crystals. There's 75 of these wonderful crystals of 4 different colors, 4 or 5 different colors, and yeah. So basic gameplay of this, each player has their own board. And what's really cool is each of these boards have a different symbol on them. So there's 4 different symbols to choose from, or you can flip them over and use the planes. I call this the planes.
The generic clock side, yeah, but I like this side much better.
So very easy to understand, very easy to play. Lots of great strategy in this. And so each of the cards actually has abilities on the bottom of the card. So you really want to look at what you want to purchase. They have an ability. Some abilities are passive, which they're going to happen turn after turn. Some cards have an ability that happens immediately upon summoning it. And some are endgame abilities. For example, they just give you extra points at the end of the game. Points are the top of the card. We have points.
Madness.
Hey, look, there's Cthulhu himself. So Cthulhu is worth 8 endgame points, but he costs 6 crystals to purchase, and he has an ability for the end of the game.
I love that the cultist cards that you can recruit and summon you can summon them into your hand, to play it, or you can sacrifice them. Which is fantastic because that's what we do as cultists is sacrifice
each other. Basic gameplay, very, very easy to understand. Basic gameplay, you want to get crystals into your hand, which are off to the side of your board, and you can get crystals basically from the gates. You can take 1 from each gate. You can decide to take the same color from one gate by sacrificing another, or you can sacrifice another color to take all different colors from one gate. So that's one action you can take, is to get crystals from the gate. These essentially are the seals sealing the gate.
Yeah, or you can take crystals from your hand, from your resource pile, and place them onto your board. So, for example, I can take 3 of the blue tiles, and those actually convert up to 1 more than the total.
That's right.
4, and so now I have 4 mana purchase pile, and the other 2
they go back in the bag. Yeah, so he now has 4 blue mana, because he converted his 3 crystals into 4 blue mana. So he's actually, in his next turn, he could purchase, for example, this cultist. This cultist costs 3 blue mana. So he can take his 4 blue, decrease it down by 3. It ends up in the middle because that's the 1 spot. But here's what's awesome about this. By purchasing this, it now goes into his play pile.
And that is my first card towards victory.
His first summon. He now has 1 experience. And that means that any future purchases costs 1 less. So if he went to purchase the 6, it would actually only cost him 5.
5 blue, yeah.
5 blue next time he has blue on his board. So you actually want to try to get your crystals down into the center, because the more crystals you have in the center, the less things are going to cost.
For the reduction in actual price. So the next thing that you're going to want to look at is when all of the crystals have come off of one of the gates. You have now unsealed that gate. The player who does that will take 2 of these cards, look at them, pick 1 to place into the altar, and the other one goes as a hidden card that only you have access to purchase and play, and that goes under your player board.
Yeah, so he's going to keep it upside down under his player board, and no one else knows what that card is except him. And at any time, he can decide to purchase this card for those points and summon it,
Yeah.
right? We're giving him those end game points, but no one else knows what card he has under there. And so that's the nice thing. You take those two cards, decide which one's going to benefit you personally better, and keep that to yourself. You
Yeah.
can only have two of those hidden cards.
I love that hidden
at any
information
time.
portion of the game, because it's that whole card. Like, I play a lot of poker. That whole card, it's
Yeah.
like nobody knows what that is. I can make sure I'm going towards that goal and pop that out at the end, just to sort of have some really awesome
Yeah.
victory condition.
Yeah, great strategy in this game. It's really important to know what cards are on the altar and really plan your strategy, picking the colors you want off the gates, spending those to put on your board, and really getting the power you need to purchase or to summon the cards from the altar.
Yeah.
And play just continues clockwise around. It's up to 4 players. It's 2 to 4 players. There's actually a solo mode in the game as well. We played 2 players. The neat thing about this game is, even in a 4-player game, these altars or these gates are divided amongst however many players there are. So in a 4-player game, there's 4 gates, but they're between each player. So in a 4-player game, I might be sitting here in the middle here, so I can only choose from these 2 gates, whereas the player over here can only choose between this gate and this gate, and so on around the board. There'd be 4 gates around the board, and whatever 2 gates are on your left and right, those are the only gates you have access to. That's a neat little mechanic there as well.
It's a really fun little mechanic, because it's the strategy comes out too. It's like the guy to my right is really going after those greens, so I need to make sure on my turn I clear those greens out of the one that we're of our shared pool.
And you figure out a way to use them yourself so that you kind of block him. I love Cthulhu themed games. And as we said, the gameplay just continues around until either these gates are empty or someone has summoned 6 cards into their play area, and then it's game over, and you add up your points, and some cards give you bonus points.
Yeah.
Whoever has the most madness points, they call it, is the game winner. I loved this game. It was very, very easy to understand. Again, it's prototype, so we felt that some rules just need to be tweaked a little bit for understanding, not for gameplay, but for understanding proper ways of handling specific cards or specific scenarios.
Right. Yeah.
Quality of even this prototype are beautiful. These cards, I love the tarot-sized cards.
Yeah.
These are gorgeous cards. So I am thoroughly thrilled with the quality of this game. These crystals are beautiful.
One of my favorite.
Awesome.
We've seen this style crystal in a few different games.
Yeah.
Absolutely love these things. They are really high quality, and they fit the theme of the game so well too.
They really do. They work so well on the player board, knowing how much power you have, and you can have multiple. You can have the same color on 2 different numbers, and if you need to spend 6 blue, you can put 3 from this one and 3 from this one, whatever works.
Yeah,
you can spend them in any way you want in order to spend that 6.
And I actually used that strategy. I had exactly 6, but I needed to spend 4, so I spent 2 from each one to make sure I dropped 2 of them.
2 more experience
into my experience, instead of using 3 from one and then 2 from another, wouldn't leave me with the experience, which set me up for my next turn.
Yeah. This is an awesome game. I absolutely loved it. I cannot wait to play it again. Shards of Madness. It's coming to Kickstarter very, very soon, October 20th. And you know what? Check out our interview with the artist, Robin Elliott. We're going to be talking to him, and there'll be a link right up there for that video. So be sure to check that out. That is Shards of Madness from Triple Ace Games. Very soon, Kickstarter. Thank you so much for watching.
Thanks, guys.
And once again, if you love reviews like this, be sure to subscribe to our channel right down there. It's right straight below us. We would love for you to subscribe and give us a comment. Click that bell icon to be notified. We're putting up new content all the time. Thanks, everybody, for joining us.
Thanks.